everybody. We have got Candice here from South Africa, sharing our vet rehabbers from around the world. So, hi, Candice.
Hi, Donna. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. Can you introduce yourself?
So, I'm Sister Candice Ramsey, and I run Ramsey Rehabilitation in Johannesburg, South Africa. I'm a veterinary nurse and a vet rehabber, and I love what I do.
Well done. Well, I'm thrilled that you do, and of course you would, because it's the best thing ever, isn't it?
Definitely.
So I have to open this up and just tell everybody this story because it is the most incredible thing. So before we start with our questions, I've just got to tell you how small this small world is, even though we're basically talking about what things are make us so different in how we work and yet so similar. Candice actually had a client who moved over to the UK from South Africa, and this client found me. Now, what was funny is me and Candice did not know each other at all at this point, and so the client came from Candice over to the UK, found me, and started seeing me. And then we only just realised when doing this post that the Candice was that the client was connected, which was incredible. And so we were laughing because we've just been catching up about how we work, and really so similar. It's absolutely untrue, which is great for both of us because we were both like, yay, we work the same. It's amazing.
Yeah, because I sent her over with a home exercise program. I wasn't sure what she was going to do when she got to the UK. So then she handed it over to you, which is great.
Exactly. And so, hey, how's that for a massive collaboration across the globe? You know, we really can work together and we really can be the most amazing team, which I thought was fantastic. So yeah, had to share that story. Nadia, sorry, couldn't spit that out. Nadia says, amazing. Thanks for sharing that, Nadia. So, Candice, when did you become a vet rehabber?
So I was a veterinary nurse since 2011, but I started my vet rehab journey when my own dog Oscar collapsed. He had a cervical disc that needed to be decompressed, so he had the surgery, and after that, the surgeon said that there would most likely be a good outcome, but that he would need physio. So he referred me to a fellow rehabber in South Africa, Alison, who I still have so much love and respect for. She's one of the reasons why I started rehabbing myself. And after Oscar collapsed, he needed a lot of home care because he was also an amputee as well.
Sorry, Candice, I might need you to just wiggle your headphones or something, or take them out, because we can't hear you very well right now.
Is that better?
That is better. Now, just to add to the glamour of going live, my dog's yelling at me to come up the stairs, and I'm a good owner, so I'm going to go and do as he's told. As I'm told, can I just be a second? I'm so sorry. Alison has also said, hey, Candice, all the way from Australia. 2 seconds, I'll be back. I'm so sorry, I have a demanding dog.
No worries, I'll carry on with the story. So Oscar collapsed and he needed surgery. He had the surgery and then he needed post-operative rehabilitation. So Alison Fanton at Doggy Paddle helped me rehab him.
Thank you.
So well done. Alison at Doggy Paddle helped me rehab Oscar and showed me a few things that I could do at home. And once Oscar started moving and feeling better, I decided that I definitely needed a career change and I needed to get into this.
Well done. I mean, it's great because when you have your own story that gets you into this world as well, that really just makes you so motivated, doesn't it? And, you know, makes you want to be the best that you can be. So, I mean, you've obviously got animals through and through in your bones to go from nursing through to rehabbing. And obviously I completely understand that because it's my route too. So, so yeah, we've got a lot in common, which is lovely. So, how are you finding it? How are you finding the rehabbing? Are you enjoying it?
Absolutely. The career change was so worth it. I love what I do every day. I moved away from the clinical environment into like the rehab world as a personal growth kind of step as well. I feel like being part of the physiotherapy process it's not such an intense clinical environment. It's more fun, it's growth, it's quality of life assessments, it's things like that. So that change personally was also very important. I must be honest, as much as I love my nursing, being in a hospital environment with a clinical environment doesn't, it got to me a little bit.
You mean emotionally?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, same here. Honestly, it's like we're twins. It's freaking me out a bit.
Well, we do get along really well.
We do, yeah. But you know, this is like, I really need to actually meet you. So, how do you find that South Africa embraces rehab? You know, is it considered witchcraft over there, or is it, you know, fully embraced and everybody does it? How loved is it?
So I must be honest, it's an evolving field. It's been going from strength to strength, and I feel like it's becoming more and more important, and more used by our veterinary professionals, as well as obviously the clients follow the professionals. But I do feel that I have quite a few referring vets that swear by it, that refer all the time, who are consistent. And I feel like that in itself is an evolution.
Definitely, it sounds amazing. And again, it's another similarity to the UK. You definitely found certain vets that once they see it, work with it, and go, whoa, that's pretty amazing, then that's it, they're sold, and you get all the cases from them. And then, you know, there are some vets who just still believe it's witchcraft and that's it. So yeah.
I'm not finding a lot of those vets anymore. I feel like it just takes one good case where you know, they kind of feel like there's nothing much more they can do. Let's try some physio, and then physio becomes one of the first things that they refer for after that.
Absolutely. Well, that's wonderful. I'm so thrilled that it's so, you know, it's so similar and on such a similar par. That's great. So what are the most common things that you treat?
So Ramsey Rehab is a centre based at a veterinary practice, but we're not attached physically to the veterinary practice. So it makes us more of a kind of like a hip dysplasia, elbow dysplasia, long-term maintenance kind of center, rather than like immediately post-op kind of physio center. So we see a lot of like osteoarthritis management cases, as I said, hip dysplasia, elbow dysplasia, a lot of post-op work, but usually a little bit later on. And that's usually because, you know, we're not at attached inside of it. So the patients usually come for maintenance rehabilitation. And usually older dogs, I quite like treating the geriatrics.
Me too. No, that's amazing. And so no, that's a very similar demographic to what I have as well. So yeah, that's really great. And species wise, you know, is it dogs mainly, or do people treat their rabbits? Do people have rabbits?
So I have mostly dogs and quite a few cats, and then I have treated a few interesting cases, a few guinea pigs. I do have a client base of bunnies, and I do a few odd creatures. One of my referring vets is quite into like exotics and things, so sometimes she brings me some interesting cases that we can physiotherapy, you know, use physiotherapy for. But mostly dogs and cats. I'm a big dog lover. We don't do any horses currently.
No, that's fantastic. That's lovely. And what is the sort of most odd species you have treated?
I've rehabbed a little hamster, which was quite sweet. Yeah. And then, as I said, the guinea pigs were quite famous. They did very well. And then my bunnies. I'm a big bunny fan as well. So
they are very, very cute, aren't they? That's lovely. So are your dogs mostly in South Africa? Are they sort of working animals, or are they, you know, predominantly pets, or, you know, are they sporting? You know, what's the main type of, you know, work that a dog might do?
So I think it depends on the area where you live in South Africa. Africa. So I live like city centre. So I usually see a lot of pets, dogs that are pets. But there's a big sledding community in South Africa. There's a big agility community. All the usual sports. I mean, everything is available here. It just depends on, I think, area and interests. So because my centre is mostly post injury arthritic management, geriatric management, all those kind of things, I don't really see a lot of working dogs. But there are places where there are other rehab centres that like specialise in that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's amazing. And so obviously your weather is very different to our weather, or I always think it is. I always think, oh, it must be hot all the time, although I do recognise that sometimes it is cold there. Do you notice your arthritis has a very weather dependent type flare up system, or do you find that actually your arthritis just comes and goes and you don't really have any sort of weather fluctuations with you?
I do find that our patients are a little bit more tender in winter. I do find the centre is busier in winter, but it's not necessarily cold here like it is there. So I often work in the garden even through winter. And
Wow.
We often get away with swimming all year. I mean, as long as the pool is warm and it's relatively warm outside, I mean, the sun shines all the time. So I do a lot of work outside in the garden on the grass, and it's lovely. It's a nice vibe.
Amazing. So with regard to your sort of referral situation in South Africa, is referral quite commonplace? Is there lots of specialists? I mean, literally, we've got so many referral clinics, they're literally everywhere here. And obviously, as you move around the country, they get more spread out. But, are they quite close? Would you have to travel a long way to get your specialist care, or is it all on your doorstep?
So since our centre is in Johannesburg, there are a few veterinary specialist centres and very good ones. They all seem to be kind of based in one kind of area. So if you're in Johannesburg, you can get to a specialist quite quickly. I do know that a lot of people travel far to come to the specialists. So like if they're a little bit further out in Mpumalanga, which is like 2 to 3 hours away, sometimes they'll come through to Joburg for the specialists here. But there are a good number of really good vets in Cape Town, Durban, Johannesburg. It's quite interesting. I've even had some referrals who have to drive like 2.5 hours to come to Ramsey Rehab.
Wow.
And they did. And the dog did very well. And we did discharge him after a while as he improved. And that was quite eye-opening for me because my client would drive on a Friday afternoon, sleep over at her brother's house, bring the patient in on a Saturday morning, and then drive back to Mpumalanga the next day. So obviously that was all choice. I mean, we do have physiotherapists all over. Her vet had referred her to me. So she came to me and she said, if my vet's going to come to you, then I will. So
amazing. I mean, I was going to say, so what is the sort of general attitude to travel? Like, are people okay with traveling an hour to get to rehab? Is that something that's considered quite normal? Or is it something that clients kind of go, oh God, about? I mean, obviously that client was obviously amazing and didn't care. I mean, but is that quite standard, or is that an exception to the rule?
Since the physiotherapy industry is growing, there's a lot of rehabbers, which is great. So you can usually find a really good rehab practitioner where you live. So that's quite handy. And there are a few rehab practitioners who are mobile. So people, we can always find a good referral for you. Although people don't really mind traveling if they have to, but I don't like to travel. So I can understand if they don't want to.
That's a city dweller for you. City dwellers don't want to travel. I can understand it. I always say that's the thing about London is you're kind of in this London bubble. Nobody leaves London. People enter and then they kind of go, whoa, I'm stuck in London bubble. And if you do, it takes a lot of planning.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're used to it, then you kind of don't mind. And some people are adamant, they want to come to Ramsey Rehab or go to a specific center, and then they'll travel overnight. But I mean, I would like to find someone close to me if it was up to me.
No, that's fair enough. And that's really nice that, you've got so many rehabbers popping up around you, because as you say, you need to have, because this is normal. This is not unusual, and it is something that we should be doing far more. So it's great that there's so many, because it makes it much easier to access. So I wondered that is pet obesity a real problem in South Africa?
Absolutely. I feel like we're still understanding what our pets need, and it's definitely a learning curve both for professional and pet owners, when you suddenly realize that your dog is overweight and that it's implementing their ability to move around and be comfortable.
Yeah, it's a really big issue here, and so it's something I'm very curious about, countrywide, whether or not it's just something that we've got as a real problem in the UK, or is it a problem globally? And so far it's a problem globally, which is really sad, isn't it? But hopefully we'll get an answer and we'll deal with it.
And I think it's got more to do with the people than the dogs. I think it's about educating the owners and being aware of what a dog who is an ideal weight looks like.
Definitely.
It kind of seems like it may be an opinion, and perhaps that should change, because I feel that if you're, if that's one of the number one things that I put on my home programs.
Awesome. Yeah, no, mine too. No, that's fantastic. So tell me, what's the coolest thing you've treated, either patient or case?
So I had a really special doggy that I treated. His name was Adam, and he was actually in a movie. So wow. I treated him while he was on set, and that was very, very cool.
That is very cool. Oh wow. Yeah. So you've got a famous clientele.
Yeah, he was actually I was invited to his movie premiere, and we were all standing together, all the people who were involved in the movie, and no one recognized me because I was behind, I was treating him behind the scenes, and everyone was like, "What did you do in the movie?" And I was like, "It was the dog's physio."
That's amazing. You absolutely needed a top that said that, the dog's physio. How awesome is that? That is a very cool story.
Yeah, a few cool cases. I'm very, very lucky.
So the last thing I wanted to ask then was, what is your top tip for pain management?
Top tip for pain management? To address it.
That's a great one.
Let's have a vet check and find out why your dog is sore, and then work together with the vet to find out what we can do to make it better. I do feel like it's a combo package. Regular vet checks, even with a maintenance physiotherapy plan. Sometimes having another opinion can really help improve a patient's outcome.
Yes, no, that's a fantastic tip, because that's one of the things I said in the beginning of September when it was Pain Awareness Month, was to keep talking about it, keep getting those check-ins, keep asking opinions, and because it's really hard to see when you're the owner and you see them every day and you're just not quite sure. And plus, pain changes and evolves every day, and anybody who feels pain, chronic pain particularly, will always say how they have a good day and a bad day, or a good morning and a bad afternoon, and it's never the same all day long. So if you don't check in regularly, you can't know that the program and plan that you've got is correct. So yeah, that's fantastic.
Also, the reason I say address it is because a very common thing, and I'm guilty of it myself, is kind of thinking that's the way your dog is, whereas is perhaps your dog doesn't have to walk like that or sit like that or feel like that, and maybe there is something that you can do to change that.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Candice. It's been absolutely wonderful talking to you. I love talking to you, and it's really great seeing yet again how similar we are. It's just bizarre, like I say, freaks me out. But yeah, it's been really great to listen to you and hear what you have to say. And thank you so much to our lovely audience for joining in. Really, really grateful. And we will have our next vet rehabber from around the world in 2 weeks' time as well. Watch this space for announcement. And yeah, so you take care. Have a lovely rest of your day, Candice, and speak soon. Thanks for joining, everybody. Bye-bye.